The pelvic floor isn't just physical. It's very psychosocial. It's very emotional and trauma-filled, and we all hold that differently. We have to address that and look at the whole picture of the person to be able to start decreasing those challenges and hopefully eliminate them completely. It's typically not just a one and done thing. Our goal as therapists, and should always be as therapists, as much as we love to see you, we want you to not need us. We want you to invest in yourself. We want this person to feel fully invested in themselves and feel like so empowered.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of Pivot to Profit. I have the amazing Allison Germundson. She is the founder of One Strong Woman Therapy and Vaginally Speaking. So this episode's going to get a little colorful. So if you got kids, you might want to skip to the next one and use this when you're on the treadmill with your earbuds because it's going to be so good. So Queen, so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, Pam.
Amazing. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I knew I wanted to be in healthcare. I just always wanted to take care of other people. I knew I liked working with kids. I loved babysitting, all of that jazz.
I love it. So, Allison, what were you taught about money as a kid? Were your parents like, money's great, or like, money's bad?
That's a great question. I had kind of two different influences. My parents are together, but my mom was kind of that person that was like, you don't die with your money, right? So spend it. And my dad was very frugal and like, we don't spend money on certain things. I would say growing up, I feel like I learned the meaning of money, but besides that, like learning how to save, learning how to invest, any of that, I don't think was like really on the radar that I learned.
Okay, I got you. So what did you go to college for?
So my undergrad was kinesiology at Iowa State. I went to get my master's in science of occupational therapy.
I love it. So did you work in traditional medical settings before you started your practice?
I worked in the big healthcare hospital settings until I decided to open my own practice. So I will also preface this, Pam, is that in grad school, I didn't learn how to open a business or anything about money.
There's not a course for that? So weird.
Weird. PTs get it. They get a little glimpse, not like a full course. We did not get it.
So what made you be like, I'm tired of working for someone else. I'm tired of working in the medical system the way it is. I want to build my own thing, have my own open sign.
So after I had our daughter, I started having all these challenges, and the typical medical field like providers were just telling me that was my new norm. That was something that you just had to deal with and go have a glass of wine. And I was like, absolutely not, right? And I still hadn't thought about opening my own business yet. I reached out to a bunch of different companies and I was like, I want to build your women's health program. And they're like, you're an occupational therapist, not in your scope, which we won't get into that. So then I was like, okay, watch me. When somebody tells me I can't do something, watch me. I then had our son, and there was some complications with that. In that moment, I was literally in the hospital bed and I said, I'm going to open my own practice. And we opened it in 2022.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Push this buddy out. Life is hard. Not getting the support you need. And you're like, see problem, fix problem, heal world, I come.
Yes. So I had a 2.5-year-old and a newborn. And I was like, let's design this business plan. Because like, what else do I have to do?
Nurse a child, change diapers, help a toddler not burn down the house.
We can do it all.
Let's go.
We can do it all. I thrive in chaos.
So One Strong Woman was born. And so what services did you originally start providing?
I will say, as much as I didn't know about business, I knew overhead was a big thing, right?
Amen.
So I knew that I needed to keep overhead down, and I knew that I wanted women to feel very safe because I was going to be providing pelvic floor therapy, which can be a very intimate, scary therapy if you're not familiar with it. So I started going to women's homes. So I provided mobile therapy.
So smart.
I loved it because women for most people, felt very safe in their own home, right? And so it was very easy. The hard thing was, in a great way, the word was getting out. And more people wanted to get on the schedule because they were tired of peeing their pants or, not achieving orgasm. And I just couldn't fit everybody. And I couldn't have all the equipment with me. And so that's when I got a brick and mortar in 2023.
Okay. And so Since then, what has One Strong Woman evolved into?
Yes, I'm super excited. One Strong Woman started with just myself to now there's 10 therapists and there is 3 admin staff. I started off mobile to about a 4,500 square foot space, and we have thrived. We've made our name known in our area. We've been able to help women not only in our community but like worldwide, which has been my greatest joy, is like getting the word out there and helping women feel like this is not normal, but it's common.
I love it. So from the business side of things, tell me about an early financial win where you were like, this is going to work. I can make it, like a financial win in the business where you're like, oh, this is working.
Pam, I don't know if you remember, but the first retreat, I am a little different in my own business. I take insurance and I do really love doing that. But I was having a lot of challenges with my AR report. So I wasn't getting all the money in. And so that was challenging when you don't know when it's coming in. And I tried different outsourced billing and I just kept getting burned. And I finally posted it for an in-house one, and it is chef's kiss and starting to run KPIs. This is really embarrassing, but remember, I didn't have any courses. I didn't keep track of data ever, which is really bad, right? But now I do. And it's so beautiful to see the numbers and then know what they transpire to. And this year has been a huge shift in like putting systems in place, like learning numbers, learning what the data means. And so this has been a really big win. Obviously, change brings like some challenges and just like uncomfortableness. This year has actually been like the big win.
Yeah, the big financial
business.
win is having transparency of your numbers and knowing what's coming in and what's going out. Because insurance is fine, but the problem is there's a huge delay on your money. And just because you billed $200 doesn't mean that $200 hits your bank account. And it gets really complicated. And so it makes total sense that the financial win was knowing exactly how much money do I have and where is my money coming and going.
Absolutely.
So as the CEO of your business, what are some metrics that you track on a weekly or monthly basis to say like, check, I'm winning at this whole thing, I'm the best at business, or like, oh crap, we have a problem? Because you said when you start out, you knew overhead was a thing. So like, what numbers are you tracking to be like, yes, we're good, or no, we have a problem?
We track how many sessions are booked weekly and what we end with weekly of sessions. We track it per therapist so we can also see, did anybody fall off, right? Because not only is that important for the business financially, but again, my goal is to help people. So what I know is at the end of the week, how many sessions we saw. I know how much money that was spent each week. And so I can guesstimate each week exactly what I'm bringing in to know the overall month.
I love it. Your real-time tracking, which is such a game changer, and doing that cash forecast, because it gives you that forward-looking view, because a lot of entrepreneurs just look at the rearview mirror. It's the bookkeeping reports, the P&L balance sheet. Well, that's just history.
Right.
It's really important to see what's coming to be able to like, okay, we had 50 clients service appointments, but only did 35, so that means I'm going to be able to collect X amount in the next 2 weeks from insurance.
Yes, and actually it's really helped like our admin and our therapist. So like, here's our starting number, and if we get cancels, our admin's really good at like getting people in, right? So we have this ideal number for each week so that with overhead, with payroll, all the costs, we are coming out ahead in the business and, having smart profit. And so, yes, that has been a huge game changer to know what's going on.
And that's the thing is, as a talented, trained occupational therapist, no one told you, oh, your profit margins matter.
Right.
And your gross profit margin matters. And how much money you actually have in the bank matters, not just how to treat patients. So now let's transition into the treating of patients. Yeah. So you specialize in helping women
help them wet their plants, not their pants, and get the orgasm they deserve. It is my favorite saying to tell people, and people don't forget, because nobody wants to wet their pants, right? And everybody deserves an orgasm.
I love it. So Allison and I obviously know each other in person and see each other quite frequently at business events. And we were at an event last night and she kept doing the introduction. And I was just dying to see people's faces when she said,
my little elevator speech. Here we go.
Wet your plants, not your pants. So as a mother of 3, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So the reality is, that's not something we have to accept, but a lot of women just accept it.
Correct. It is not normal, women, but it is common. So I don't want people to feel ashamed that they have that going on, because A lot of us have that challenge, but we shouldn't. It's not our norm, and there's things to do to change that, because we should be able to function and live the day how we want to and not worry about, I've got a small cold, I'm going to sneeze, I better cross my legs, or I can't go jumping on the trampoline with my kids at the trampoline park. We should be able to be involved in the activities we want to do without worrying about that. There is hope, and there is things to do to stop you from doing that.
So, ladies, if you can't run without tinkling or laugh or sneeze, there is hope.
Absolutely.
Is this a one and done and magically it's fixed? Like, what does it look like to help a woman go from can't jump on a trampoline to like, let's do this?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Pam. I would say, and not everybody loves this answer, but we need to personalize it, right? Because here's the thing I tell everybody. The pelvic floor isn't just physical. It's very psychosocial. It's very emotional and trauma-filled. And we all hold that differently. So we have to address that and look at the whole picture of the person to be able to start decreasing those challenges and hopefully eliminate them completely. So no, it's typically not just a one and done thing. However, hopefully the provider that you find looks at all of that, sets you up with really great education, and empowers you to understand it and own your body, and sends you home with programs to work on. Because our goal as therapists, and should always be as therapists, as much as we love to see you, we want you to not need us, right?
Yeah.
So we want you to invest in yourself, but then down the road, if something were to come up, you have the tools in your toolbox and you don't need us. We love to see people coming back through our door if they're, pregnant again or just had a baby, right? That's fantastic. But if nothing huge happened in their life and they come back in, we obviously want to help them, but we're like, man, what can we change? Because we want this person to feel fully invested in themselves and feel like so empowered.
I love it. So it's not a one size fits all. It depends.
No, yeah.
So it depends on what your physical situation is. If you had C-section, vaginal birth,
Yep.
all of that. But also, I love how you bring the mental component into it, because we were actually having a conversation with another woman, founder here, and our mind does drive what happens physically with us.
Absolutely.
And so when you're working with women, help us understand the connection there and why there's like a wall between your brain and your body sometimes.
Absolutely. So first of all, I'll tell you, if you're clenching your jaw, unclench it right now. Most women are clenching their jaw, and what happens if you're clenching your jaw? You're clenching your pelvic floor. But why do we typically clench our jaw? Because we're stressed or we're thinking about something, right? So we're just like bracing ourselves. Or if we are standing for a long time, like washing dishes or like doing a presentation, a lot of us are clenching our butt. Why? Like our body feels safe when it feels tight. Why?
That's crazy.
Right? And like, I also tell people, if you are listening to this and you're like, okay, but I have these things and I've never had children. You don't have to have had children to experience these things either, right? If you could be a very successful female, or you might have been an athlete or a singer, or, a lot of different cases that has caused different habits that's caused you to have these challenges. And if you've had a child or not, women store everything in their womb area. Okay, so that psychosocial component, I'll tell you a real quick connection I tell people is, let's say that you had pain with intercourse, even though you were with a safe person and you wanted to have that activity completed. Your body now, though, felt pain. It's going to store that as trauma. So now the next time that you go to have that, participate in that activity, even with a safe person, your mind is like, I want to do this. Your body's going to say no, because you haven't told it it's safe again. And that's that huge psychosocial component that we need to be aware of. And how can we help make our body feel safe again?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women do have trauma around that. And then,
yes.
especially as, busy women, we're stressed, kids, business, there's so much going on. And so just being able to get out of the headspace of the grocery list, and so has soccer tomorrow and school tomorrow, and get into a point where we can be relaxed and enjoy our partner is a huge thing.
Yes.
So how do you help women walk through that process? Because there's always more emails, there's always more groceries, You're going to forget something, and someone's going to be late to something, always.
Right.
So how do you relinquish that space in your head so that you can be present with your partner?
Yes. So there's a lot of different things that I would recommend, but the first one would be being able to be aware of how your body reacts in certain situations. Because you're right, we're never going to get rid of stress. We're always going to have 1,000 emails. We're probably always going to have 1,000 events to go to. So when something happens, stop for 5 seconds and how did your body respond? Because when we can start to recognize how our body responds, then we can start to implement things that help with coping or strategies to distract it, right? So that our body doesn't hold on to it. When we give ourselves time, and we should all give ourselves time to participate in the activity that we want to participate in with our partner, it can be hard to be present because women have a million tabs open, right? And men have one tab open, right? They have one. And women are like, men are like, I'm ready for this.
So true.
It's so true, right? And so then you feel this pressure, and it's hard to be present. So I tell people, let's tap into our other senses. Like, is there a smell that's calming to us? Light a candle or a diffuser. Is there a sound? Let's put on sound, music. Maybe it's just like white noise. Is it a certain texture or like fabric that can calm our body? If we can tap into the other senses of our body to help calm and distract our mind, then we can be present. I will also tell people that women are not initiators, they're responders. That is a huge disconnect and something to communicate with your partner. But if you remind yourself that, it's also something to be present with yourself of what does help me respond in the way that I want to, and start remembering that and communicating that with your partner.
All of this is so true, and as a mid-40s female of 3 kids, perimenopause and menopause are coming in hot. A lot of my girlfriends are struggling with that, and I feel like our society is doing such a better job of communicating that, like, hey, there's this thing. Like, my mom never talked about menopause. I don't know, like, I had to ask her about it. But now there's movies, there's so much education about it. And so how is that awareness in the world playing a role in how you're helping women and supporting them?
Yes, great question. So a huge thing is that most women don't know that perimenopause happens in their 30s. So you may feel like, oh my gosh, do I still have this pregnancy brain fog? Or like, is this low libido normal? Or why am I so overstimulated? Why do my ears itch? That's a really interesting one.
My ears itch so bad all the time.
It's a hormone shift, right? And so like we need to understand our hormones, and I think in a great way it's becoming more accessible, right? You do still have to advocate for yourself to get those hormones drawn, but understanding your hormones and understanding where you should be in that moment is like of time, be it with what career you are, how old you are, your lifestyle, that will help you understand a little bit more about how to approach things.
And just the awareness that like these things are normal, but there can be support for them.
Yes. Normal doesn't equal common.
So true.
So we have to change that phrase and say things are common, not normal.
Yes. So
because we can't
common.
Justify it. We do not have to live this way.
You're right, because when I say, oh, it's normal for me to be experiencing these things, it makes me feel like I just have to suck it up. But if it's common for women in my age and place in the world to have these challenges, that gives me the mindset that, oh, I can fix it. I can do
There's
something.
something to do. It's not something that I have to live with, but I can choose to try to decrease that.
I love it. This is amazing, Allison. So what is on the horizon? You have your podcast, but what else is coming?
So I'm super excited. I love talking about sexual wellness. It's like my superpower. So I love talking about all the taboo stuff. I have created a 12-month membership for people to sign up called Turned On Again. And it is a program for women to have this safe space where they can ask those questions, learn about how to communicate with their partner, learn about how toys can be tools, not competition. Have a smut book club because why not? That's fun, right? And then have all these resources in there and access to me so that you can ask those questions and not feel like you have to storm in your brain and Google MD them, right? And so I cannot wait for this community to power up and get all those women in there and empower everyone.
I love it because your clinic is based in Iowa, and so
Yes.
that's where you're hands-on helping people.
Correct.
But this course now opens up to people anywhere to have access to your brilliance and your gift and your passion to help women live better lives, because it is common, it is not normal.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
I
This has
love
been
this.
fantastic. You're a beautiful human. I love you. So thank you so much, listeners, for being along this journey and hearing how someone who's so passionate started a business because in the moment of birthing her son, she's like, there needs to be help for me.
Yes.
And this could be better, and I'm going to go make it. So I love that beautiful story. And that's exactly what you're doing with your team. So entrepreneurs, but also hear that she's talking about numbers. And yes, she was in business for a few years, but it wasn't until she got a hold of those numbers and understood the money coming in, the money going out, where she really felt the freedom to be able to scale the business and have the bigger impact now with this online offering and group that she has. So amazing. Thank you for sharing your story. You're fabulous. Listeners, make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you need help understanding what your numbers are for your business, just go to pamjordan.com. My team would love to talk to you. And remember, it's not what you make that matters, it's what you keep.